Easy for you to say. Alex Hormozy says the best way to change a belief is to build evidence that proves the opposite, like imposter syndrome. I don't believe I can do it. We'll do it 100 times until you can't believe you can't do it anymore. I respect Alex, and I like 70%-ish of what he says. He also says some stuff that I think is nuts. This is one of them. I disagree with this not because evidence is bad. Evidence is a great thing. It's just that you're not going to build evidence if you already disagree with the premise. It's not just that you don't want to, it's that you can't. Your unconscious mind is actively looking for evidence for the things you already believe. And if that's contrary to what you want to believe, you're never going to build evidence around that thing, barring some huge event that's really out of your control, because what you're controlling for is to build evidence for the things you already believe. Besides, you don't even know how to look for evidence to build belief in the new thing. A lot of times, the biggest new things to believe aren't just a piece of data, it's a new way of thinking. And you don't know what it is. You don't know what the new way of thinking is yet. You don't know what it feels like. Those are the hard things to change. As long as you believe the old way, you're going to keep finding evidence accidentally, unconsciously, even intentionally to support that old belief. You're getting something out of the old belief after all. The evidence issue doesn't just, it doesn't address secondary gain. And that's a therapy speak term for what do you get out of it? You always get something out of believing what you believe. Now, you may not get as much, or you may not get the same thing that you used to get out of believing what you believe, but it always gets you something. There's a benefit there. There's usually a protective benefit from believing in that thing. At the time you started believing it, it was the best thing you could believe in with the resources that you had, the emotional and thought resources that you had available to you. Now that you want to change the belief, the reason you're stuck in that is not because you don't have enough evidence generally. That's only for what we call the Santa Claus beliefs, where all we need is a new insight, a new evidence, a new piece of evidence, new piece of information. Santa Claus doesn't exist? Aw, okay, well, darn, I guess that makes sense. I mean, 3 or 4 facts later, and the 12-year-old or the 8-year-old or the 6-year-old stops believing in Santa Claus. Those are insight-based changes or updates to our beliefs. And they happen maybe 1/4 of the time, maybe 1/5 of the time. Those are the easy ones. It's great when that happens, but not everything is easy. 80% of these beliefs need some actual work to change those beliefs. Alex would argue that building the evidence is the work. I would argue you're never going to do that work. So when you have a belief that's not changing, no matter how hard you want to believe something else, you need to have some steps to change that belief. And work for a month on something you don't believe in, that's not a step you're going to take. That's a very unusual person that can do that. A very cynical person who's disconnected with themselves, I would even say. If you believe in something, that can keep you going and fuel you through all kinds of hardship, even self-inflicted hardship, even sabotaging hardship. Look at me, for instance. I've been sabotaging myself for years on so many different things, but the vision has kept me going of building the engine room into 1,000 entrepreneurs in 580 locations around the world. And so it's sustained me, it's fueled me. But if I didn't have that, I would have given up and gotten a job years and years and years, decades ago, and I've had jobs to keep me going, but I've always come back to this because it's the vision. So you need to be able to do 4 steps, 4 things, 4 steps. 4th depth is combination of things and steps there. You like that? New word for you. So flag, focus, fix, follow. Those are your 4 steps. So flag is identify the belief you want and the belief that you have. Those are going to be different. Focus, that means block out some time, block out some ability to focus, block out the resources you need to deal with this belief. Fix is do your process of fixing this belief. We're not eliminating belief. We're not locking it up permanently. We're not neutralizing part of our brain. We're not deleting part of ourselves. We're not putting it on fire. We're not doing any of these things. What you're doing is you're transforming part of your brain. You're transforming your mind. The Bible calls it renewing your mind. And so we're transforming these things. We're taking every thought captive to the obedience of Christ, if you want to put it that way. We're making our thoughts slaves of a new mindset. And so every belief is a part of a mindset, and it supports this mindset or that mindset, this mindset or that mindset. And so you need a process that works with that and does that. If you need a process, you can watch my videos. You can join us in the voyage. Of course, this is what we do in the voyage. We change and update and transform beliefs from unhelpful limiter beliefs into unlimiter beliefs. And then you follow on. You need to keep up with what's happening next. Did I get the results from changing that belief that I wanted to get? If not, why not? Are there other beliefs hanging around with it? Very likely. Are there other things that I need to do to now build that evidence? Did I miss something important? Did I do an incomplete? The failure modes for belief change are, did you get it all? Did you use a process that finishes it right now, like we do in the voyage? Or do you have to go back to it and fix your old broken process a bunch of times? That's okay if you're doing that. I mean, any process can work eventually if you get enough pieces right. But you have to follow it on regardless of your starting point. And then follow through so that you support that vision with your action. That's the execution part in VIBE. Vision, identity, beliefs, execution in the voyage. So the execution part, you need to give yourself that evidence. Once you believe, now give yourself plenty of evidence. And so I like the evidence stuff. It's important. It almost never can come first.